on YouTube, but most of the ones that I have done in the past are all on Instagram. So I don't know if anyone is going to watch this. In fact, I don't even know. I've never used the app, so hopefully I can figure out how to see. God, I'm such an old man looking at this stuff. Retouch. All right. Hello, men. How are you? Hi. Glad, good. So this is the first time I've ever done a live on YouTube. And hello, Bertie. How are you? And I just thought I'd do something a little bit different. I've done them on Instagram before. I've done them on TikTok, but I've never done them on here. So if you guys have any questions or if you have any queries, hello, Jaron. How are you, mate? Hello, Aussie Juggalo Matt Whiting 87. How are you, mate? That's very kind. That's very kind, mate. We're in the shed at the moment. It is pretty bitterly cold. And if you guys have any questions, I'll walk through with you in a few minutes what's actually going on in here. But there's not a lot, if I'm honest. I am a bit ugly, that's right. And a little bit fatter, increasingly. Hello, Noah, how are you, mate? And yes, I do have terrible hair, but terrible hair seems to be a part of my social media presence. Always have terrible hair. But anyway, I guess I can show you guys around, but nothing has massively changed. So I will pick you guys up. We'll spin around here. And I guess this is what I'm looking at. VTS pack. Very cool, mate. Very cool. And hello, filthy goat. But again, there's not a lot that has changed, if I'm completely honest, but I'll quickly go through. This VN has been in a crash, obviously. Unfortunately, it doesn't look too bad from here. I do like the cream on the VN as well, mate. And this one doesn't look too bad, but you can see it's kinked there. It's kinked there. The front end actually isn't that bad, but it's probably going to be a bit dark for me to actually show you guys. Hello, Bad. Hey, mate, how are you? Tuning in from your favourite place in Perth, yeah. Probably not going to be in a hurry to go back to Perth. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, this VN is totally stuffed. Actually, on top of this is an intercooler, and there's a turbo over there. Now, you guys have any ideas what you'd like me to do with that? I have no idea. G'day, Dean. How are you, mate? I love this VX. It's great, but I'm not really going to spend any time talking about it because I've already banged on about it enough, but I will come to it. I've done a lot of talking and not much doing. So I thought I would just do this live. There has been a few small changes. I did put some threaded rod up there, but you can kind of see there's some rare bits up there, but that's for another time. Thanks, Gary. I really appreciate that, mate. That's very nice. Ecotech comment. They do last a long time, the old Ecotech. Hi, Colin. How are you, mate? The Ecotechs are a really good thing. I mean, this one is as sweet as a nut, and it's done a lot of Ks. G'day, Bruce. How are you, mate? I'd love to, Bruce. I'm not sure where you've sent me the mate, so yeah, I'll come back to you, Bruce. Let me know where you've sent them, and I'll have a look after this. Am I manual swapping the VS Ute? I guess we can talk about that while we're over here. Yes. I've got the manual conversion. I've got everything for it. But at the moment, it is just storage. It's just sitting here, wasting away. But it's unregistered at the moment. I've just not long let it lapse. And the bonnet's popped. I've not long let it lapse, and that is because it has the worst rear main seal leak you've ever seen. That's actually why the cardboard's under it. So to get it back on the road, I'd probably rather manual swap it first, because then that has to be fixed. But it had a roadworthy in November last year, so it shouldn't need anything else other than that. And I spent a couple of grand on doing that at the time. Sorry, I've missed some of the messages, and that's awesome, Birdie. That's really cool. I love hearing stories like that. So yeah, I am still manual swapping it, but I'm just time poor, and I am a little bit cash poor, but I'm not, I'm not going to be begging. I've just spent so much money on my cat Scotty and all that stuff, but that's okay. Don't feel sorry for me. It's my own doing. So yes, I am still manual swapping it. I have the hoist, things are actually happening with the hoist. I have moved all this around. It's getting done very soon, very, very soon. So I'm very excited for that. You can see all the VN parking here. Moved a little bit of stuff in here, some Bowdens and oil and all my old tools. But no, I don't have a big toolbox and stuff. I've just got the basics. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. If you wanted to send me an email or get in touch, I would love that. Otherwise, I'll go back through the messages. Not too much has happened on the Prem. I've taken the door cards off, and that's because I've got to replace this outside rubber here, this guy. And to do that, I've got to pull the window out. And obviously, to do that, I've got to pull the door card off. Thank you, Gary, or Garrow. So I've got to do that. The front ones are still on, but I've pulled the winders off. But honestly, I haven't really touched this car today. Yes, you are right, mate. I'm looking for those the legs. We do have a few little cracks here, as you can see. And I think it would probably have to land, if we go to this door, probably around here, sit upright and go there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I'm going to try and push it back as far this way as I can and still have decent roof height. Oh, thank you, Filthy Goat. You didn't have to do that, mate. I appreciate that. I should buy another Triple S. That would be sweet. I really, really like that car. Is it easier to... Yeah, it is pretty, mate. 5 litre in your VT. Look, I'd probably budget, I don't know, 6 to 10 probably by the time you buy a donor car, and you might get a little bit cheaper than that, but what else is happening? Nothing's happened with the Falcon. I've moved my VN. This is my one, the white one, original paint, 150,000 Ks. Really, really like this thing. I moved that in the shed, but nothing has changed with it. It got it roadworthy, but it didn't need a single thing. So I made a video about it, and I didn't end up doing it. The New Zealand VN, that is gone. That's gone to be repainted. It had started peeling on the roof, and it looked terrible. That had happened. It was peeling on the boot, so it's all getting repainted at the moment. This VN, I might do a video on this VN wagon at some stage, like a proper review kind of thing. Oh, there's a big spider there. Just noticed that. It's not my car, but it is a mate's. But the reason I like it is it's very, very honest, stock height. Very cool. But yeah, this is my one. Got it. It's not perfect, but in that camera, it looks $1 million. Engine bay is pretty grubby though. It's overdue for a service. But yeah, it looks almost cream in that light. Ford or Holden, look, it's probably Holden. I don't mind the Fords though. I do have one here, and I've daily one. I don't mind these. They're not a bad thing. And without these, we wouldn't have, well, I don't have a VE here, but we wouldn't have a VE. Fords have a lot of pretty average products, but also GM had a lot of average products. Ford also had a lot of good stuff, and so did Holden. And I think these are good. These are a good thing. I think these are a good thing. You know, some people don't love these. You know, they prefer the Barras, which is fair enough. I drive a Barra every day. This is a pretty rare car. So, yeah, BA turbos. They're really good cars, honestly. I was actually in a BA, just an NA XT the other day, and forgotten how nice of a car they are when it hadn't been modified and it was just comfy. Spare parts. I did end up finishing, mate. Yeah, I did. I finished my apprenticeship. But long story, I've had to take my boss to Fair Work because there was a lot of things that I wasn't happy with when I finished. But yeah, I would recommend an apprenticeship. It definitely taught me a lot of things, and you know, forgetting just the trade, having a great work ethic. You know, it's pretty rare that you work with anyone that's lazy. Great work ethic, great skills in the future, and no matter what trade you get, you sort of understand the whole thing of construction, what goes first, what the processes are, everything. So even if you don't get a job as a sparky or whatever, you sort of get some idea of what's going on. That's awesome, mate. I really, that's good to hear. These two cars, there's nothing really to talk about. V6 auto. This is one of the weirdest. Again, I'm not saying it's rare. Oh, sorry, someone has just donated me a lot of money. I can't. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. You didn't have to do that, mate. Honestly, that's very kind. Almost going to make me cry, but you really don't have to donate. I appreciate it, of course. God, that really caught me off guard. What are your thoughts on Teslas? You know what? I actually drove a Tesla, and a lot of people might not love this opinion. I kind of wanted to hate it, and I drove it, and I thought, man, this is really, really nice. It's very nice to drive. It is comfortable. It is relaxing. I really enjoyed it. However, I enjoyed it in a different way. They're made to be daily driven. I didn't enjoy it like I enjoyed driving a HQ Monaro, for example, right? But I enjoyed it in that it was comfortable and relaxing. Maybe I would own one if I had a fleet. You know, if I had 20 cars, yeah, I probably would. If I only had one car, probably not. I still think hello, secret advantage. I think we're still quite a way away from electric cars. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to think of any other stuff that has happened to these cars. Yep. Me too, mate. Nothing has really happened with this one. I've done some videos on it before. It's a very weird spec. It's got the burgundy red interior, but it's a blue car, so that's real weird. The Holden Volt. God, I haven't thought about that car in a while. Tesla swap the VN. No. Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. Scotty's doing great now, actually. He's doing really well. I was just talking with him. Just hanging out with him about 30 minutes ago. Yes, it is, Gary. Yeah, it is the factory interior. It's not a rare car. It's just a VN, but it's a very weird spec VN. And it's only got 150,000 Ks on it. I know the paint's knackered, but the interior is like brand new. And it's embarrassing to say, it's probably one of the best driving cars in here, is that thing. This is a VG. These things are decently, again, not really a rare car, but sorry, it's going to be a little bit dark in here. Yes, I do still have the VT. So there's two of my cars that are not in here. The VT 5 litre and the VN 5 litre. They're not in here. This is the VS Wagon, the L67, the longest engine swap on the internet. This poor old thing. Hi, Matt. How are you, mate? Thanks for joining. I've never done one of these on YouTube. I just thought I would give it a crack, and I've done them on Instagram and TikTok, but I'm usually so time poor. But I thought I'd do it on YouTube. I can upload it as a video. SVZ Utes. Yes, I have. I have heard of them, and I haven't done a video on one. Actually, I haven't driven a V6 Ute. If you guys don't know, they are V6, the last of the run of the VZ Utes, and a lot of them are like that purple, not Cosmo purple. They have another purple in VZ, and yeah, pretty rare. That's all right, Secret Advantage. Thanks for joining. L67 or 5 litre or LS1. If you have none of those, it would have to be the 5 litre, I think. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that, mate. I'm very, very lucky I have enough 5 litres. The L67, I mean, I've never driven this car with an L67, but I have driven VS L67s. This will be a good thing. And I guess that's about it. Would I buy another VE? Yeah, I probably would. Thank you, mate. I do. I also love the VS wagon. Poor thing just sits here, really. I really want to get stuck into this. And again, there's just so many. Thank you, Bad Q. I appreciate that, mate. And hopefully we can do something together again like that video. Hopefully it's not in the same situation as last time. But I'll keep doing them, I think. I don't mind it. That's awesome, mate. The filthy goat. Impulse Blue, original V6. Only mod as a head unit. Look, I don't know if you're in Victoria, I don't know where you are. But if you have a video like that, if you have a car like that, I'd be happy to do videos on stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a V8. In fact, I really don't care. A lot of my stuff in here is V6s, and I know some people don't. Look, if I only had to have one car, it would probably be an 8, but a lot of people don't love the V6s, but the reality is those are the cars that most people have. Same with the straight stickers. Do I mod my cars or keep them stock? Look, it's sort of, most of them have some modification. The vast majority are lowered, at least. And if they're V8s, they have exhausts. But, I mean, that's really about it. My red VN has a built motor, like cam and oversized pistons and all that kind of stuff. Sorry. But I tried to do it so they kind of looked like an original car, if that makes sense. You kind of see my breath. So yeah, I guess, I don't know, it's just my taste in cars. I like maybe original plus 10% or so. That's kind of my style. Yeah, they're super sick. I mean, look, they're great engines. Just looking at my VX, and there's so many cool things to do. And this is, I know I've been slow on social media with the shed, and it's killing me because I can't wait to get stuck in here. Thank you, Simon. I really appreciate that, mate. I really do. Thank you, mate. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with a V6. There's nothing wrong with it. And again, most people have them. V8s are great. Don't get me wrong. But it's a totally different car, really, than the V6. I mean, if you're driving the V8 and you're going flat out in it, you're 2 seconds away from losing your license. It's not really the case in the V6. I really don't mind dailying a V6 at all, if I'm completely honest. It's really, yeah, it's fine. Oh, mate, Toking, thank you very much, mate. You really didn't have to do that. That's very kind. I really appreciate that. Send me an email and I'll put a sponsored by Toking or something. I'd be happy to do that. Thank you, mate. You really didn't have to do that. Oh, thank you, S82. That VN was actually in the shed, and it has just left to go to get repainted. A lot of the clear had come off the roof in just the last few months. So that'll be cool. Awesome, Sean. I really appreciate you, mate. And I do see all of your comments. Really, I recognise the VT. And I really appreciate your support. You've bought lots of shirts and stuff. And I really appreciate it, mate. I see you on Facebook and all that. So thank you a lot, really, for your support. Not just financial. I mean, that's great, obviously, but just following along. I really appreciate it. Fresh built one. Oh, 150 skids. A 5 litre 5-speed ute to daily. I don't think stupid is the right word. Look, if it was an absolute minter, I probably wouldn't be daily driving it. I'd probably leave it as like a weekender or whatever. But if it's rough as guts, or if it's a little bit average, I think it would be fine. Really, I mean, they're pretty good motors. The only thing that goes on them is, I mean, if you treat them reasonably well, distributor. You know, Isaac, this is a really good question. Actually, before I get to that, I'm not wrecking the Cream VN yet. I think we will, though, because it's knackered. I actually would buy a Chimera. I actually would. Sorry, what was that question? All in the cars registered. So, all right, this is how you can get actually stuff registered for stuff all in Victoria. Club Rego. I've got my own club. So each of these cars that's registered costs like $80 a year. That's it. It's nothing, right? And then I have one car that's on full rego, obviously my daily driver. But all these cars, they cost nothing. And then to insure them, I only pay $280 a month for all of my cars registered with Shannon's. Sorry, not registered. Fully insured, full comprehensive, and roadside assist. They cost nothing because they sit here and they never move. And once you have so many, it's almost like fleet insurance. It's actually 25 years, mate. 25 years. So we're at VX this year. That's awesome, Bertie. Yeah, if we're thinking about the same owner, Chris, his cars are absolutely fantastic. They really are. They really are. I actually would own a Chimera. I think it would be a fun thing on the channel, and they're very inexpensive. However, finding a good Chimera, again, they're not necessarily a rare car, but finding a good one, not a big dollars, but yeah, they're pretty hard to find. No problem, Isaac. No worries. But yeah, it's a lot cheaper than you might think. If these were all fully registered, that might be a different story. No worries, Grieve. Thank you very much for joining, mate. I really, really appreciate it, and thanks for watching. Paradoxial, thank you for being a member, mate. I really appreciate that, and I'm doing very well. The VN10. You know what, Joan? I think you're right, and I think they're sort of starting to at the moment, but because of the condition of the economy in this country, I think that might be holding them back a little bit. But again, VTs are obviously not a rare car, but finding good VTs, one owners that are bang on, that doesn't happen that much anymore because they've all gone to P-platers for nothing. They've all been used as daily drivers. Conditions on Club Rego in Victoria are pretty lenient, honestly. They are pretty good. You don't really have anything. Obviously, you can't use them for work. You've got to drive them 45 or 90 days a year. And no major modifications. Usually an exhaust or something is probably all right. But, if you put a Barrow turbo in this, you can't really have it on club plates anymore. But no, it's pretty generous. It's pretty generous. 85 Corolla. That's a great idea, Rock W. And you know what? That was actually one of the reasons why I got this shed, is because I wanted to have, and it will still happen, it's just my cat cost me 15,000 and I've just set me back a bit, right? But what I want this shed to be is a rotation of cars we're saving. So for example, I'm going to buy cars that are stuffed by P-platers and save them. Find cars that have been left in, left in someone's paddock or whatever, and save them. And that's what I want to do with this channel, because I can do it, because for most people it wouldn't make any financial sense, but I make money doing it from the videos, and then we save a car together. So that's that's the goal of the shed. However, for that to be a reality is very hard. It's $30,000-$40,000 to make that happen. But I'll get there. So yeah, that is the goal with the channel. Sorry for touching the screen. There we go. Yeah, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. That's awesome, Birdie. If you don't thrash them, they are really good cars. Thank you, dude. I really, really appreciate that. Toe King, if you were interested in something like that, then if it runs and drives and you're giving it away, maybe, get in touch and maybe we can give it to someone else. Look, frankly, as cool as it is, I don't need another VS ute. But if it's a bit rough, maybe I can save it, pass it on, sell it for what it owes me or whatever. Send a good one out there into the wild. Adelaide, it's far away, but it's not that far away that I wouldn't consider doing something like that. And especially, a lot of people that do videos and stuff, I have no problem promoting people's businesses if they help me with stuff like that. It just has to make sense, and in this case it would. Luke, am I going to do any more designs on the shirt? I would love to. I'm sort of in the middle of a contract with GM, so I can't really do anything at the moment, but thank you, James. I really appreciate that. It's funny doing this job. It's, if you can even call it a job. It's got a lot left in it, Aussie. It's got a lot left, mate. The more videos you make, you just get better, and they get easier to edit. It was very good, mate. It was a 10 out of 10. There was nothing really you could pick on it at all. But the owner wants good money for it, as he should. As you do more and more videos, I'm way more comfortable in front of the camera, which makes the editing a lot easier. It might only take 20 minutes for me to walk around the car and film it, because I don't make mistakes if it's a car that I'm familiar with, like the VNSS. If it's something that's really out of my, I've got a R33 Skyline soon, that is going to take longer because I'm not as familiar with them. My favourite, the worst Holden that I've ever driven. That's a good question. If they're standard, they're all pretty good. The only ones that come to mind are ones that have been buggered with. One that comes to mind immediately is a mate's VG that was just cooked. It was, just knackered. Everything was bad with it. Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate that, mate. Especially if you're in Geelong. I'm in Geelong. I don't mind saying that. I've already said it. But yeah, I do go to Jolly's quite often. My favourite car that I've reviewed so far would probably be the blue VK SS, the blue Mini. That car was awesome. Love the SSE. Look, Filthy Goat, would I consider buying it? Probably not that car, but only because it's not really in the spec that I would want. If you wanted an SSZ, that was the car to buy. It was a 10 out of 10. The owner had never driven it on dirt roads. He'd had it for 15 years. It was the one to buy. My spec is probably a 6-speed ute. That would be the one that I go. Actually, that's a really good question, Godzilla. Thoughts on choosing between a VF? Look, I probably wouldn't be too fussed. I guess the Series 2 are a lot easier to nick, which is a shame. Look, I've had people want to do cars on VY V6 restoration. You know what? That's a good idea, Shane. And I think what I would do is I would try and make it some sort of slightly interesting combination. You know, it might be a crewman or a tonner or something like that. That's a good idea. I don't mind doing something like that. What did my old man drive? Well, my old man's actually South African. So he drove a lot of Euro stuff, a lot of Mercedes-Benz. I mean, they drive all that stuff over there. But he moved to Australia in the early 90s or late 90s. And my mum and dad had a brand new Hyundai XL, and then a Suzuki Jimny, and then a Ford KA. all were red. What are my opinions on the alloy techs? Look, honestly, not bad engines. I think they get a bit of a bad rap because some people thrash the guts out of them, and they won't last as long maybe as the EcoTech and Buicks, but they're not terrible, honestly. They're okay. They do sound terrible though, and that is not up for debate. They do sound terrible. Look, I don't have an anti-theft in my daily driver, but I drive an FG. Yeah, look, I definitely would put an immobiliser in a VN, especially if it's a daily, because they just, man, they are taken pretty easily. Yeah, I would like a VF LS3 Calais. That would be very cool. What else are the other questions? Known for being battle techs. Look, I do prefer EcoTechs as well. I do prefer EcoTechs. But the VEs are okay. I think they get a bad rap because people don't service them. And, you know, to do change is what, $2,500? It is a lot of money. However, happens every, 200,000 Ks? I don't think that's unrealistic if you compare it to the cost of a timing belt or similar. But saying that, I've had two alloy techs. One needed chains. The car was so new it was done by Holden under warranty, and the other car had never had them done, and it had 240,000, but it had full service history. It ran like a dream. So, EcoTech. My favourite body style would be Ute, for sure. Maybe in the older cars, you know, before Ute, like VB to VL would be sedan. I don't mind a wagon, but, you know, sedan, you can always tell what it is from the rear. That's not really the same. Refuses to work on LOTX, that's funny. I have had one SV8 offered on the channel. I think I lost his... Yeah, I think, oh no, he might have been interstate. Dual hump hard lids. I'd probably look, I don't know, I know it's a crap answer, probably Facebook Marketplace or something. Used to really be able to get them flat out. I had a flat one on my old blue VZ Ute, but I had a Maloo. Yeah, Maloo had the dual one, I think. No, I much prefer the LS1. The Ford engine's not as bad though, and it actually sounds better than I expected, that thing. There's one just over behind this Prem, or in front of this Prem rather, and yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. However, look, my opinion isn't quite fair, right? Because I don't have to live with these cars. So I don't have to live with the maintenance, the servicing, the timing problems, anything like that. I don't have to deal with that. So that would probably put a damper on it. Any of the LS ones that I've had in the past have never needed anything other than an oil change. Oh, thank you, Luke. You didn't have to do that, mate. I really appreciate that. L67. Oh, really? That's interesting. That ECU surprises me that works, but that's cool. This is what's good about these old cars. You know, they're just old enough that you can do stuff like that to them. But when you drive them, they don't feel old. But yeah, I don't know. Thoughts on the Holden PRs? I've tried to get one on the channel. I have found a few, but they're all pretty knackered, which is fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that because they were a throwaway car at some point. But to feature one on the channel doesn't have to be perfect, but like a lot of these cars didn't even run. Sorry about that. My partner, Letitia. Letitia, that's very nice, yellow cold, mate. I really appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. If I can find a 1-tonner LS1, I would love to do one. I did get offered one, but it was twin turbo. Twin turbo 6 litre, I think it was. They'd put a 6 litre in it. And that car's pretty scary. Captivas and Cruisers. I'm sorry if you've got one, but it's no secret. They are not great cars. I'm sure they're nice to drive, and I don't think they're particularly ugly either. But yeah, a lot of the GM Daewoo stuff is not great. Some good cars did sneak through, but yeah. Yes, it would. A 4x4 Calibra turbo would be awesome, but man, they never come up. Could a late 90s travel? I think so, mate. Actually, if you have a look, recently I drove a T2 Lexan, so a VP Commodore 1992. I drove it from Phillip Island to Sydney, and not one issue, nothing. I did that about a couple of months ago. ZB Commodore, look, I have not featured one on the channel. I would actually be really open to it. I don't think they're necessarily a bad car. I don't think they're even an ugly car, but I think that they fucked it up by, that's probably the first time I've sworn on the internet. I think that they stuffed it up by calling it that. They shouldn't have called it that. I think it angered the Holden fan base because no V8 option, front wheel drive. It just wasn't cool. It wasn't a cool thing they did, but it's not a bad sheep shagistan. Can you get away with keeping the auto ECU for a VE6? Now, look, I'm actually going to cover this when I do the conversion. I don't think so. I think there's some issue with your reverse lights, and I think you have to pull the ECU. Oh, look, I don't know. That's the honest answer. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate that, mate. Good condition, original cars. They're the best. And I'm lucky enough doing this channel, I get to see some of the, I wouldn't even call them survivors because they're not surviving, they're thriving, some of these old cars. And yeah, I love seeing them. I love seeing them and driving them, and happy birthday. I don't think so, mate. I think Dill can have a birthday party on his own. Absolutely, Brody. I would. Sorry, I'll just grab a seat since I'm not walking around, and I'll drop you guys down too. There we go. So, there's the Prem. One of the best looking angles of this car, I reckon, is the back side of it. Just such a good looking thing. Have I tried to get a XUV? Yes, I have. I believe I've got one lined up. The reality is I just get, it sounds so egotistical, I just get so many, it'd probably be 25 to 30 a day of people wanting their cars on the channel, and it's very difficult to keep track of that, especially when I did that auction thing recently. That really set me back because I had no internet for like 2 weeks, and that means that there was like 2 weeks of replying that I didn't get to meet you. Best car meets. God, I should go to more. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't really know. I don't really know, if I'm honest. I really should go to more. Yeah, it is a good looking thing, isn't it? So this particular one, unfortunately, it's not my car, but 1970 HK. No. God, I can't remember. HT. God, it's actually, that's embarrassing. It's slipping my, that's it, HT. Yeah, it is HT. Yep, 1970. God, I should know that. Great car, obviously genuine Prem, good colour. It's been repainted. They didn't put the chrome things back on the around the arches, which kind of sucks, and they bogged over the holes. But what are you going to do? Still a good looking thing. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. This car looks great, and it is a 186. Yeah, it looks great, runs great. The underside of this car, in terms of bushes and suspension, is totally stuffed. So that's what I want to do on when I get the hoist in here, which should be happening any moment with Tough Lift. So that's really cool. But yeah, it is a very pretty car. There's no denying that. It's funny you mentioned that, Ben. I actually was booking one in today. I'm just waiting on the reply back. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And yeah, absolutely. Out of those two, the Holden Nova would probably have to be a very, very good one for me to do a video on, but a Gemini, yes, I would love to do a Gemini. Ben, that sounds fantastic, mate. I would absolutely do that. If I got the chance to do that, I would. That's a really good idea, actually. It certainly will be, Gary. It certainly will. And it's probably one of the reasons I haven't made so many videos in the shed, because it's just me wandering around and just talking. And even I get sick of that. Thanks, Ben. It'll probably be a while. It's very hard logistically, because most people that have real jobs, unlike me, they're only free on the weekend, which is fair enough. But that means that, if I want to do, usually I do Saturday and Sunday filming. It'll be a 2-post. Great Holden archives. That's a really good idea, mate. Thank you. I actually will. But no, I really enjoyed my time with the Prem, and soon it's got one little rust bubble, so the owner, the seats are off getting retrimmed now, so when the seats get back, the car's going to be sent off, the rust will be fixed. G'day, mate. And it'll come back, hopefully, and then it can go get its all. Oh, awesome, mate. That's really cool. I like seeing all these comments and stuff, and about people's first cars and their memories with it. It doesn't have to be a VN, but what's my... Oh, that's cool, mate. The Holden Nova. Oh, covered in rust. Damn. Thought you said dust. Thank you, Johnny. I really appreciate that, mate. What's my favourite country? That would have to be Australia. Australia's a pretty damn hard place to live, though, if I'm honest. I've travelled, I'm very, very, very lucky. I've travelled all over the world, like all over Asia and Africa and Europe, and not really Europe so much, but Australia is very hard to live in, especially now. But I do love it. I love the culture, the cars, everything. But I guess second that would be Japan, which is kind of a classic answer, but Well, that's a good question. My favourite car in the shed at the moment, it'd have to be the Prem. My favourite car would be the white VN, which is just behind it. What would I buy if I was a P-plater today? I'd probably buy a VSU. Just like that one behind me. That's probably what I would buy. But if I was a normal, or maybe a VY Ute, I don't mind those. VY V6 Ute. BT Calais in Orient Frost Silver. I don't mind the old VTs. Like, yeah, obviously mine aren't in here at the moment, but do love a VT Calais. Oh, so much stuff to do. But yeah, I'm excited to have the hoist in here because, again, I've just stopped doing shed videos because even I'm going to go crazy. Having the hoist in here will be a game changer, and I'm still going to do the reviews, but I might do 1 or 2 a week and then spend the rest of the time doing the cars. I have an editor now, which is really cool, so I can film almost every day on the videos. A gold BT1. I don't know if I've ever seen one of those, mate. That's really cool. So, yes, I would, mate. If you guys ever want any of your cars on the channel, please message me on Instagram or Facebook. I usually try to get back to everybody, especially if it's about that. VT brand new. Quicker than the XD. That's awesome. Thank you, Nathan. I really appreciate that, mate. Yeah, I would love to. If you guys, sorry, I know I just said it, but in case you've just joined, if you guys would like your cars on the channel, then feel free to get in touch. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Yeah. Super clean VS executive. Oh, that's awesome, mate. And you know what? It's not the end of the world if it's not original paint, as long as you enjoy it. Would I accept a 2023 V6 Ranger? Look, if it's anything new or newer, I probably would take it from a dealer rather than a private, with the exception of being a VF or something, or a GM SV, because it's a little bit different. Like, if I have a new car from a dealership, I can, I'm judging it in a different way. You can judge that, this seat is a bit uncomfortable, I don't like this. Where if you're doing it like this, I'm not going to judge where the armrest is. And so, yeah. The VX giveaway car is actually making progress. It's a little bit hard, that one, because when are you going to break out the suit and chef? Yeah, that's a good... I did like doing that video. The VX giveaway car, so it had its roadworthy, and it didn't really need anything. I got 2 tyres put on, that's all. And it's booked in, I forget what day it is, but it's late this week or it might be early next week to actually be registered. So that's cool. I have picked the owner. The winner knows. I didn't really do it very well because it kind of seems wrong to make money on it. And because I had, from day one, I geared that whole giveaway, the whole car, to give to someone less fortunate, someone that is struggling. So I didn't accept any money or anything like that. A few businesses did help me with it, but I didn't accept any handouts for it. Oh, sorry, not handouts, it's the wrong word. I didn't accept any tickets or anything like that. So then to make money from the videos just seems wrong. Like, it feels like I'm exploiting somebody that's not doing, that needs help. So that's not right. So I'll do a video when it's given away, but not about the person. Good evening. Sorry, mate, I don't know how to say your name. Cowland? Sorry, mate. Do I know if the VN I actually have no idea, mate. That is a good question. I don't know. VF Calais wagon. I'd love to try one. I'd love to try one. The other thing I try and do with the channels is I don't want to have like 7 VSs in a row or 7 VNs in a row, because eventually I will run out of Commodores. I mean, there is only so many, but that is a while away. That is a while away. But eventually I'll run out. So I try and space them out a little bit. So I think recently I've been pretty VN heavy. So it'll probably be a while before I do VN to VS again. But yeah, I guess, what else do I have? Tia for a Deo. Absolute darling of, it's hard, Jake. Unfortunately, I probably don't have many in Perth because I'm all the way on the other side of the country. I do know of some here though. Should meet up in the next few weeks. Absolutely, foul dandy. Feel free to message me if you've got a car or anything you'd like me to check out. I like VN Series 1 guards that don't have indicators on. That's cool. I like those stuff too, mate. I have done a VF GTSR. I've driven a few. That video might be up really soon, actually. I went to Auto Trade Agents and drove his video, a few of those. But it was a bit of a different video. It was us driving it. I was meant to do a W1 as well, but it sold, unfortunately, just before I got there. Executive. Oh, that's awesome, mate. Mate, I love the 31 Skyline. I really do. It is a fantastic looking thing. I know that it's got a RB30 in it, but it looks like a VN. It's kind of the Japanese VN. People treated them like garbage, so finding a good white one with grey bars that's manual is very cool and very rare. So yes, I love those. Have I seen Holden? Oh, Brockaholic. Those videos were awesome. I've got no problem promoting it or whatever. Those are fantastic. I watched all of them. I know my mum's 2005. The police car, I believe it should have a cluster, mate. Sorry, a cluster. It should have a different cluster. I believe they don't have traction control. It'll say 9C1 or something on the VF R8 Tourer. That's awesome, mate. Very cool. Very cool, Miller. Yes, I did have a Ford Meteor. So I bought that car. It was absolutely spotless. I paid $300 for it or something as a deceased estate. It was a one-owner car. I took it to get it roadworthy and it needed like $4,500 of stuff spent on it. And so, yeah, I sold that car for a slab of, what was it? Canadian clubs. That's right. That was a while ago now. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that, mate. I will be travelling, but yeah, it's quite hard to work it logistically. But I do want to do more. Especially now that it's starting to go a bit crazy. Oh, that's awesome, Jack. I really appreciate you letting me know, and I really do like those stories that it's been handed down. The Aussie car dude, I really appreciate that, mate. I really appreciate following me YouTube channel, and it's been a really crazy journey, and a lot of people, sometimes it's a little bit hard to make it work in Australia because we don't have, I don't do it for money, but, money is a tool, obviously. It's a little bit harder to make money in Australia than it is in the other countries, but it is possible. It is possible. And if little old me can do it, anyone can. Currently own. That's cool, mate. I love those. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that, mate. 83 gear 5-speed. That was very cool. That was the same one I bought. It was it was a GA, I think, the model before, but gear 5-speed with the twin carby, I think it had. It would be stuff now. Yeah, mine was twin carby too. It was such a happy little car, but I think unfortunately now it's cooked because it's just been sitting in a paddock for a million years. But you know what, guys, I might leave it there soon. I really appreciate you guys for joining. I probably will do more YouTube ones. Oh, that's cool, mate. That's cool, Ben. I really would like a VYSS ute or a VZSS ute. But yeah, I'll probably wrap it up there, guys. And I really appreciate you following along. And I didn't know how this was going to go on YouTube, if I'm honest. I haven't done much. I'll answer the rest of the questions. VR equipped wagon. I haven't done one. No, I haven't actually been offered one, I don't think. You too, Bertie. Thank you guys very much. Thanks for following along. Scrapyards, I always go to Jollies. Not sponsored, but anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. VS fuel sender units. I don't think you can, mate. I don't know, actually. That's the honest answer. I'm not sure, mate. I'll have to check for you. Thank you, Gary. I really appreciate that. I'll probably do more of these. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought. It's cool doing it live because you guys, I don't think people might say whatever they like about me, but I think that it's clear that the passion is genuine. Thank you, Luke, mate. You didn't have to do that, mate. I'm in Victoria. But I could sit and talk here for 10 hours about cars, honestly. I could just talk and talk and talk. So thank you guys for putting up with me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you guys very much. And thank you very much for watching. I don't know how to quit, but thank you guys.